All right, welcome back to another lesson in Excel. In today's 5 minutes lesson, we want to take a look at basic formatting of your worksheet. Right? So let's jump into it. If you um, if you can, just take some time, pause the video, and get whatever we have here on screen typed up, or feel free to use your own data. What I'm showing today is just basic formatting, right? So we would have noticed that from last time, we can make some corrections already where the words are not showing. And so I can select all the column here and set them to the same size, right? To have all columns of the same size. I can also expand this particular column to ensure that the days of the week that they are showing. So I want to put in some data, and I'll just kind of throw in some random data here for right now. I'll just make it all ones and assume it doesn't. And this is actually sample rainfall data, right? And I'll show you a feature that we'll talk about in our next lesson. I'm going to select all these and come to the bottom right corner, and this is my autofill feature, and I'll drag that across, right? And it fills in the rest of the data automatically, right? And then I can make changes to whatever was needed. So first thing then is that we want to format our cells so that we have some variation in colors to show the difference between our headings and what our inputs will be. So I can select here, and there are two ways of doing this. The first way, we can use a built-in cell style, or we can create our own style by manually adding in a fill and changing the text color, right? So I'll select my labels up top, and I'll go to the style group in the home tab, right? And right here under cell style, it gives you a variation of different styles that you can place to your cells. And so because these are headings, I will say that this is, and let's use heading 2 for this particular case. So heading 2, I might notice that I also need more space for some particular cell size, right, in terms of the width of the column. For these, I can say that I can also apply a cell style to this and say that these could be something like that, right, with a small variation. And of course, these are inputs that are needed. And so I can come to cell style and say that these will be inputs, right? And so these are input. So automatically then I've formatted my cell, my workbook to look a little bit different by adding in some colors, right? And of course, these colors could have been placed in manually by selecting the range and, for example, doing a fill, right? So it's up to you what you want or what you deem as a professional color setting. Now, if I were to print this, it wouldn't necessarily have any margin, and so I need to add in borders. So to add in borders, I can select the entire worksheet or the section I want to, and right under the font grouping, there is something called borders. And so I can choose to place in all borders, which gives me a border around all cells. I can select a particular group and say that I want a thicker border. So a thick double border will go around that particular cell. And for here, for example, I can place in maybe some thick border again around that particular cell, right? Around those range of cells. I want to also place in a label. So let's call this rainfall data for week 1, right? Now notice that this is writing over the other cell simply because there is no text in the other cell, and so it goes over. But if you were to add data into cell B1, then you would fall short of what is written in A1, right? But we want to use this as a label for the top area or as a main title. Now to do that, we can select um, the particular group of cells. So as we want from cell E1, A1 to E1 to be our title area. Um, so we can select that, and then let's go to the alignment group under the home tab and choose merge and center. Merge and center. Now what that does is that it merges all the cells together and then centers your title that you want for your particular worksheet. We also want to change this cell style to heading 1, right? And so that gives us a nice template that was built, a nice heading template that we can use to give our worksheet some professional look, right? So now we have our work title, our worksheet title, which was merged and center between 5 cells. We did some cell style by changing the different styles of cells. We labeled our input section, and we also showed you guys how to do the fill into cells if you wanted to do that manually. So that concludes our 5 minutes lesson. Hope you get a chance to try some of these features. And of course, the look that you want is totally up to you, right? And what you deem as a professional look, or maybe you're looking for something more on the colorful side. So that's it for this lesson, guys. Go there and geek yourself.